Let's talk about the Chiefs training camp starting up today, a legend of Chiefs Kingdom passing away, the Chiefs having the worst receiver, tight end, and running back rooms in the AFC West, Mecole Hardman making some easy-looking catches and making quite the declaration earlier today on national TV, and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? This is not how you're used to seeing me, I'll tell you that. Here's me in my bedroom. That's where I've been editing. Here's my computer. So yeah, I'm still not doing the best. We're still trying to figure out what's going on. So today's video that you're seeing this evening was supposed to release yesterday. I just couldn't make it happen. I'm not feeling the best, sleeping a lot. And yeah, running some more tests, trying to figure out what's going on. My health comes first. So this video is a day delayed. So when I say things like today, that really means yesterday. And when I say stuff like yesterday, that really means 2 days ago, okay? That's all I wanted to let you guys know. Hope you have a great freaking day, and I'll see you soon. What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka Sir Beardsley Gingerdust, or sometimes known as the Bearded of Bad News rather than the Bearer of Bad News. And I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub if you're new. Hit that like button if you are as stoked as I am that training camp starts today. And let's get into this video, starting with some obvious news to most of you. But that is exactly what I just said. Training camp starts today for rookies, QBs, and select injured players. They are scheduled to report to the team's 2022 training camp at Missouri Western State University. And a cool FYI, this marks the 12th season of the Chiefs traveling to St. Joe for training camp, with 2 option years remaining on its contract with the school before a new deal will need to be negotiated. And I can't personally imagine how much the players enjoy traveling out here, staying in dorms, and doing training camp there. So maybe after this deal ends, they will find themselves back at the official practice field with access to the facility and all that good stuff, but I could be wrong. Mahomes tweeted out yesterday that he's excited to get to work, saying, "Report day tomorrow, hashtag Chiefs Kingdom, let's get it." And then Mitch Holthus had a message for the world as camp begins today. He said, "Saw it this spring and summer, especially from Mahomes and Kelsey, burning through the rest of the team, and from Big Red, the most successful AFC team in the past 4 years, with a chip on its shoulder. You can doubt them or dislike them, but you're going to have to deal with them." So there's a nice little message from the voice of the Chiefs as training camp gets underway. I believe head coach Andy Reid, QB Patrick Mahomes, and select players are expected to be made available for media interviews beginning this afternoon, which probably means by the time you're watching this video, it's already happened. And for transparency's sake, I've been dealing with a back issue that has me in bed for most of the day, which involves a much slower time to prep all my notes and also edit, because I've been doing that in bed, believe it or not. So I appreciate your patience as I work through whatever is going on. I see the doctor right after I record this video, and yeah, videos are going to be a little bit slower to release, maybe even later in the day than normal, as I pace myself and aim to keep health my first priority, because the football season is a very long one and it hasn't even started yet, so I need to get well. And since we're on a downward trajectory of not great news, we'll just keep it going here for a moment, because Chiefs Hall of Honor member Jimy Lynch, who played 11 seasons with the team and started in Super Bowl IV, passed away at the age of 76 on Wednesday, July 20th. Lynch is an absolute legend who played linebacker alongside Pro Football Hall of Famers Bobby Bell and Willie Lanier to form an outstanding trio that was key in the Chiefs' run to the AFL title in 1969 prior to winning the franchise's first Super Bowl against the Minnesota Vikings of a score 23-7. He was selected in the second round of the 1967 NFL Draft by the Chiefs, and in his second pro season, Lynch was a Pro Bowler, and that 1968 campaign was also the first in which he started all 14 games for the Chiefs, becoming a fixture in the starting lineup through the end of his career. Get this, from 1968 to 1976, Lynch started every game, which is absolutely freaking incredible. And as far as career stats go, Lynch played in 151 games with 142 starts, tallying 17 interceptions, 14 fumble recoveries, and an unofficial 18 sacks. Why the word unofficial is used here is beyond me and my knowledge, but either way, an incredible career for the Chiefs Hall of Honor member, Jimy Lynch. May he rest in peace. And then we got to talk QB contract news because Kyler Mini-Man Murray is now one of the highest paid players in the entire NFL. That's right, the 5'10" quarterback signed a 5-year, $230.5 million extension, giving him the second highest average salary in NFL history. And he also has the second most guaranteed money in a contract, second only to Deshaun Massage Watson, who, as we all know, has a fully guaranteed contract, and it's rather wild to me that you'd pay a QB like Kyler Murray more guaranteed money and a higher yearly average salary than a QB who's way up on Everest like Mahomes. And I would tell whoever offered that contract to Kyler to stay off the weed, but recreational marijuana is legal in the state of Arizona, so it would do no good. And it's also worth noting that a rare clip surfaced of Kyler being seen on a public highway driving to sign his extension, which was quite the sight to see, to say the least. Poor little guy. Anyway, if we pull up the top 5 contracts with the highest average, it now looks as follows: Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and then Josh Allen. A couple things to note here about this. First off, this list is going to keep changing as players like Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and others sign their extensions in the coming years. And the other thing to notice is this: at least right now, Mahomes' contract keeps shining and looking like a great win for the Chiefs overall. People really can no longer complain about Mahomes' cap hits, yearly average, guarantee, etc., because in a couple years, he's barely going to be in the top 10 as far as contracts are concerned. Now, to be clear, I fully expect Mahomes to have his contract reworked within the next, 4, 5, 6 years or so as the market keeps going up and up. And Pete Sweeney from Arrowhead Pride certainly echoes those thoughts as he said this yesterday about Mahomes' contract continuing to age like fine wine. And he says this: "I'm seeing a lot of these thoughts following the Kyler Murray contract numbers, thoughts like the tweet you see on the screen right now. And while I completely agree, I also think the Chiefs could make an adjustment if the deal becomes too outdated when the time comes, similar in some sense to Stephon Diggs. To be clear, it is not something I think happens anytime soon, but eventually, especially considering a certain Browns QB got $230 million guaranteed. Also, this wouldn't be a bad thing. Keeping your MVP quarterback happy would be a very wise, good thing. So, have no fear, guys, because Mahomes will get even more money in the coming years." And then Bill Barnwell, a writer for ESPN, released an article yesterday that I had to pay for, by the way, in which he ranks teams' receivers, tight ends, and running backs purely based on estimated performance for 2022. The scale, of course, is tipped in favor of wide receivers because the league values wide receivers at a different tier, a different level than other skill position players. But he says he tries his best here and blah, blah, blah. You know how these explanations go. So what I want to do is glance at the AFC West as a whole before looking a bit more in depth at the Chiefs specifically. And the Broncos are first on this list at 14th overall. Author Bill actually says it's hard to predict who is going to break out this year on the Broncos because they are all just oh so good. But if everyone lives up to expectations, the Broncos could legitimately rank number 1 in these rankings next year. And is it just me? Or did things escalate rather quickly here in this article? I've read one paragraph from this man, and I'm already wondering if he was in the same room with whoever offered Kyler Murray his deal, as they both smoked recreationally legal substances from a glass pipe together in Arizona. The Chargers are up next, listed at 6th overall, and with players like Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, and Keenan Allen on the list, as well as just thin Sherbert at QB, I can see why they'd be ranked so high, even if the author himself was quite possibly high when compiling this article. He ends the Chargers segment basically in the same fashion as the Broncos, saying, if QB Justin Herbert and company can unlock a career season from their new tight end Gerald Everett, combined with the rest of the heavy hitters on this team, the Chargers might challenge for the top spot on this list in 2023. So basically, if both the Chargers and Broncos perform well, they are both the best teams in the history of the NFL. Cool. And then way up in second place out of 32 teams, and this is not a joke, Bill lists the Chokeland Faders because, Davante Adams, but also because of Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, making them one of the best trios in all of football. I'm not even going to argue that, but I will argue this. If only this sorry little team had one of the best QBs for one of the best trios in all of football to capitalize on this extraordinary talent. Too bad, so freaking sad. And from here, it's time to take a look at the Chiefs. Their rank in 2020 on this little list was first overall, and in 2021 it was 6th. But now this year is 16th. Yep, you heard that correctly, 16th. The Chiefs are right in the back half of the pack, which is certainly interesting considering who they have as their QB. You know, Patrick Mahomes, aka the greatest QB in the NFL, that is somehow ranked a 95 overall on Madden underneath Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady, who has a top speed of 10 and an acceleration speed of 8. Anyway, more on that in a different video. Back to the article here on being ranked 16th. It's not a complete surprise because, of course, Tyreek Hill has been traded away, and literally everyone is losing their minds about that, deeply concerned for the Chiefs' future forevermore. It's almost like they forgot Andy Reid and Mahomes runs the show, and while cast members may change throughout the seasons, these two are still going to see to it that the show goes on and performs at a very high level. Anyway, the author Bill acknowledges some of that to an extent as he says this: "It's a long way from the top for the Chiefs, who are in the middle of retooling their offense. Travis Kelce stands out as the team's difference maker, but he turns 33 in October, and only one tight end over the age of 32 has produced a 1,000 plus yard season, and that was Pete Retzlaff way back in 1965. Well, Bill, I have a feeling Kelce's about to be the second in NFL history to do so. In fact, I would almost bet the pink slip of my very expensive $2,000 Honda Accord." He then, of course, mentions that outside of Kelce, it's a bit of a mystery with Tyreek gone and the additions of the Dash brothers in MVS and Juju, along with the drafting of Sky Moore. He's optimistic about this group, however, simply because of Patrick Mahomes leading the charge and not some average QB like Derek Carr. And then listen to what he has to say next. "The Chiefs could also improve on this ranking if one of their disappointing draftees finally lives up to expectations." Ouch. The two players mentioned are Mecole Hardman and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Bill says Mecole's basically a gadget player and that MVS was brought in to avoid relying solely on Hardman. And first round pick CEH has almost been a bust when you look at the fact that he hasn't stood out from replacement level backs, those are words he used, like Darrell Williams or Jerick McKinnon. Therefore, Ronald Jones was brought in to shoulder some of the rushing workload. That's about as savage of a segment I've read on Mecole and CEH, but in some regards, he's not far off here, so there you have it from author Bill of ESPN. The Raiders receivers, tight ends, and running backs are ranked 2nd, the Chargers 6th, the Broncos 14th, and the Chiefs 16th. Yeah, pretty wild to say the least.
That's a good one. That's spoken like a wild man.
And then with Mecole Hardman disrespect reaching an all-time high, let's land the plane here for a bit because not only has Mecole been making rounds in the media today, he also has been making some pretty wild one-handed catches yesterday via a clip shared on the NFL's official Twitter page.
Watch out! It's gonna be even. Hey, we might need to dial down the speed if the guys are gonna.
Hey, we might need to dial down the speed if the guys are gonna have to jump. I don't know what the guy says at the end here, but it's funny to me every time I watch it as he genuinely seems concerned. I, on the other hand, am less worried about the speed of this little passing machine and more impressed with these catches. I mean, is this normal? It appears his gloves have super glue embedded into the very fabric, but alas, I'm merely a basement-dwelling mortal and therefore could just be easily impressed because the Twitter comments certainly were not that impressed with this because he had gloves on. But doesn't nearly every receiver in the NFL use gloves? I think the answer to that is yes. So anyway, there you go. Wild catches featuring Mecole Hardman, and he's not done here because just this morning he was featured on Good Morning Football answering a few questions about the Chiefs offense. With Tyreek gone, Mecole knows that he's going to have a chance to step up and make things happen as Mahomes will give multiple receivers opportunities to shine. After all, Tyreek Hill got a lot of looks and a lot of targets last season, so in theory, there's certainly plenty of looks and passes to go around. Even no-look passes to go around, if we're going to be honest. Mecole says he's prepared to take advantage of the opportunity, so I guess time will tell there because we all know that Mahomes is going to give frequent looks to those he ends up trusting the most to make plays when it matters. Will it be Mecole? Maybe. MVS or Juju? Possibly. Travis Kelce? Definitely.
You got Patrick Mahomes, you know, at the helm. He got the keys to the car. Then you got the best tight end in the league, and Travis Kelce. With Pat and Trav alone, the offense is going to be great regardless. And with the pieces of me, Juju, Marquez, I think we're going to have a significant role in the offense to boost it up a little bit.
With Pat and Trav alone, the offense is going to be great regardless. Well, isn't that the freaking truth? But they're going to need receivers like Mecole to step up and provide a much-needed boost to the offense 100%. And Mecole wasn't done there because he also appeared on ESPN as well shortly after this, completely caught off guard by this man comparing Russell Wilson to Mahomes' level.
Now you got Russ within the division cooking, so now the gap is closed as far as the disparity between Patrick Mahomes and the other quarterbacks. Like, who do you see? Well, listen, you can't say Russ is not, you know, he's still in the conversation. He may not be him.
Mecole Hardman certainly did not agree and was looking at this man like,
What did you just say to me?
What did you just say to me? What did you just say to me?
and I'm sure the rest of the entire universe had the same exact reaction, outside of Broncos fans, of course, especially when you consider the infamous Russell Wilson fade near the back half of the season that's happened over the last few years. Anyway, from here, you can tell Hardman was getting a bit fed up with it all as he then gave out some strong thoughts on why he thinks he is the next man up with Tyreek gone, and now it's his turn to show out and blow the absolute top off of the defense.
Now he's gone. If a defense feel like they can come and play man-to-man or stay at 10 yards and think that's cool, I'm going to go right by you. Like, it's simple as that.
They're going to try you.
And they do, I'm going to show you. I never could show that because I have that guy in front of me, which I had no problem with. I learned from him. You know what I'm saying? I've learned everything from him. I wish him the best of luck as well. But I feel like I can take the top off too. I can do that too. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, some honest thoughts from Mecole Hardman. I think he's honestly getting a bit irritated about the shade that's constantly being thrown his way. And while I enjoy hearing him say honest things like this and admire his confidence, I sure do hope he backs it up this season and balls the heck out, stunting on all the haters all the way to the end zone. What do you guys think here? Are the words of Mecole ringing a bit hollow to your ears, or is it officially Mecole Hardman's season, especially considering Tyreek's gone and Hardman has been learning from that man for the last few years? I'm curious to know your current thoughts, so definitely let me know what they are, and let's bicker about it down in the comment section per usual. My thoughts are this: it's going to be a toss-up between Mecole Hardman and MVS underneath Juju and Travis Kelce. I do think they all have the opportunity to eat, but a successful season in my eyes, in my bearded opinion, would be Travis Kelce with about 1,000+ yards, maybe Juju with about 1,000 yards, and then all the others underneath splitting, getting close to the same amount of yards, because that means Mahomes is successfully keeping defenses on their toes and just throwing the ball as he pleases all over the place, whipping it around. Pause. Anyway, make sure to leave a bearded comment or a super thanks to potentially be featured in an upcoming vid. Use your thumb or mouse right now to hit that like button if you haven't done so already, because it's going to help me with my back pain. And then check out this video here, which is a longer segment of Mecole Hardman on ESPN from earlier today. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those